And please, let's be brief. So I'll start with you, Mr. Shah.
Right. So I was just going to just buttress or speak to what PS said earlier. Well, let me add that it's so interesting that the Netherlands and Lagos has some similarities. The Netherlands has 60% below seawater, and also the experience of flooding and all that is also a very similar experience. And I think one of the key lessons, you made reference to Makoko, is the concept of living with water and not against it, right? And I also like your definition of resilience as not something an afterthought. We don't have to wait for the crisis to happen, right? So when we have the data, we're able to plan and mitigate. So resilience is not waiting to suffer that, okay, when it happens now, government needs to start running helter-skelter. The data has already shown that this is likely to happen. How do we plan? Not to make it an afterthought, but in our building plans, in our drainage plans, in the way in which, we structure society, data is at the very core of decision making, not only for governments, but also citizens' action. So I think that's definitely a key lesson I would take. But of course, I'm a big champion, or I'm a fan of bottom-up development and context-based planning. I think that I would say, like I mentioned, I think Lagos is on the right course with the LPAP, with the water partnership, working with a lot of development partners. I think it's just time to put, I always say people need to put their money where their mouth is, right? So I think it's important right now for the state. I like that, the conversation on sovereign guarantees has not been wiped out or ruled out. So there's a possibility for that. So I think it's time that the state puts also itself as an investor on the table to show that we are ready to be investors in this as well. And, every, community who is ready to talk with the state and then, also be a part of that journey. I mentioned we are not the only ones with instruments that, can support this. The idea is the money is so much, to move it forward. And I think it's next across development partners to take that journey forward. And of course, is another platform to mobilize stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tijani. Okay, actionable steps that can be taken by Lagos State to build a climate resilient city for the next 5 years.
Okay, thank you. I'll be quite similar to what Mr. Okoyemi said. I think implementation is the next thing now. We have the plan. I think we need to move into deepening the plan and imbibing it into everything we're doing. So there should be actionable steps and who's responsible for doing what that we should be taking on course right now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Lagos State has developed the Lagos State Climate Adaptation and Resilience Plan. In that plan, we have identified over 33 projects that will cost us over $9 billion to implement. We don't implement, bring us different scenarios, as in that could cost $4 billion in losses, as new institutions invest, as implement that. We want to de-risking the efforts as much as possible to make sure that investors feel safe in bringing their money for us to be able to implement those projects. And the question I keep asking people is...
Thank you, ma'am. We got the point. Engineer, time's up. Thank you.
All right. I will close by saying that our water systems all over the world is a connected system. And while you think disrupting a wetland in Alimosho will not affect you directly, but it will affect people around the downstream, around Lekki here. So it means that we must make sure that whatever you are doing is in tandem with the state's agenda. Particularly, I must say that starting from next year, our LCAP should be mainstream in such a way that, thank God we have our legislation here. Let us make it into a law that all approvals and all planning must be in tandem with the LCAP. I think if we start with that.
Thank you very much. Please, can you give this season panelists a round of applause? From our session today, we have talked about building Lagos State into a more climate resilient city. And we've learned that it's not a job for one parastatal, one ministry or one individual. It's a job for all. Partnership is important. It involves a lot of finance. So I want to just encourage you all to tell you that together we can. We will move forward and to put Lagos State on the map, to be a model for other major cities in the world to tap from. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.
So we would like a group photograph. Can I have the commissioner please join the panelists? Thank you so much. And the permanent secretary, thank you so much.
I think they said it.
Solar, and you make cool money, and then create a certification program. They can go to, and Lagos has, has a vocational training center all over the place. We're creating a curriculum that can be taught in those schools, and you can go there as a mechanic and get trained, get a certificate, and then become a solar installer. Who knows? A repairer of generator and talk about 85 or 90% of the manufacturing solar panels. I will use about in the association. It's called Oxano. He started actually from Alaba. We call him Alaba engineer. And then he gradually moved, and now he has a 100 megawatt solar assembly plant in Lekki. And there are many other companies coming to this space now. At the last count, we should have over cumulatively 800. Megawatts of solar assembly capacity in Nigeria, 85% in Lagos. So that's, this, and then the just transition. Then, how do we also encourage adoption? And I will use this case, which if Minister of Environment will mention, there's an organization called 40 Cities. So they provided some, seed funding, and we are test running a pilot in Lagos today, displacing that I better pass my neighbor generator, replacing with solar system, allowing those SMEs, barbers, hairstylists to pay a token every week and use this system. And it's becoming real. There are some flyers out that you could even read from. So Lagos is also planning to scale this greatly, and in the long run, take away this huge that we're talking about. Just transition. And then SMEs are also part of it. We are training people who can become repairers. You are enhancing their livelihood, and then becomes a win-win for everyone. For me, the market is there, huge number. The funding is also there, and I'm also mentioning the same bank you talked about. When I started my company, they were the only bank that gave us seed capital to say, go and test solar for barber shops. We are going to take the risk with you. Nobody was doing it then, but now it's becoming, so there's Bank of Industry, the Development Bank of Nigeria that we can all raise funding from and deploy this. So for me, it's really a win-win and a very bright future that I'm seeing for this in Lagos. Thank you.
Indeed, a bright future it is. Please, one more time, put your hands together for our amazing panelists. They've done justice to our discussion today. Definitely, it shows that transforming energy, industry, and transportation in Lagos isn't just about reducing emissions. It's about building a fair, inclusive, and prosperous future for everyone. Please put your hand one more time for our panelists. And that's where we end our discussion. I think we need to stand together for a group photograph. Okay, the Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Tokunbo Wahab, and the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Gaji, and the Special Advisor to the Governor on Environment. Okay. I'm the only woman here.